Not too sure if you can hear that, but it is pouring down outside. I'm in my workshop wearing nothing but a t-shirt, which you can't see. Right, this has arrived in the post, as you can see, and it's arrived without a mark on it. It really is done quite well. I think it was Parcel Force that did this. We always credit the drivers that take a little bit of extra care. Sometimes when you get these through with the post, there's a gaping hole. It looked like I could see a hole there. Oh, there is. Ah, I didn't see that before. There's a hole there. Or a little dent anyway. Let's see if that's caused any trouble. And inside it is a TV, obviously. It's an LG TV, obviously. And it's one I don't believe I've worked on before. Why? What's wrong with my connection? It says I haven't got a connection. I've always got a connection, always had a connection, and always will. Just see if the light's flashing, if the Ethernet... Yeah. Well, the Ethernet is flashing, so it's receiving a signal, but it says it's not receiving a signal. Okay, nothing much I can do about that for now, without faffing around. And I ain't got time faffer, boy. It's a Friday night. I've got my supper in the oven, but I thought we'd spend an hour having a look at this. So I'll take it out the box gently, because I shall get it repaired, hopefully, put it back in the box and flog it off. I think that's the plan with this. Inside should be an LG LN543V. Well, I've worked on many 540s, which are the non-smart version, non-Freeview HD. The 545s and the 548s. No, 575s and 578s. Worked on those. There's the smarts, full HD, Freeview HD. So what is a 543 then? I don't think it's going to be smart. This could be the bit that's in between. This could be the model that links them all. So a 543 could be non-smart but full HD Freeview HD. Well, we'll get it out of the box and see, shall we? Always like it when they arrive with everything. Instruction manual, mains lead, remote control, stand, all in the original box. Should we have some lights? At the moment, it's all looking good. The screen is looking as good as it should. A bit dusty. I thought that was a crack in it then, but it's not. That's something that's up here somewhere. I don't know what that is. Did I switch some lights on? Let's have the proper lights on. There. I won't clean the dust off just yet. So this is dead, apparently, so we're going to be looking at a power supply issue. These can be a straightforward power supply fix. In saying that, I have got spares. Whether I've got spares here or not, I don't know. Anyway, let's turn it around, turn it on its front. And check the model number. And there, as you can possibly see, 42 LN543. Don't know if you need me to go in closer. Always on the back of LGs, you've got the date as well. So this was manufactured October 2013. It's a 7-year-old TV. And a few months now. But anyway, there it is. So, we need a power supply. Let's use the power supply that it comes with. Why do you use the power supply it comes with if you've got loads next to you? Because this was sold on eBay as being totally dead. No power. Which is surprising because normally these, as I'm sure you're aware, these suffer from a backlight issue after about 4 or 5 years. So I did ask him if there was a standby light and he said no, there's nothing. Right. So we have to turn it back over again. And he's right, there's nothing. When I say there's nothing, yes, you do say there's nothing. But I'm taking 114, I haven't got my glasses on, 115 milliamps. That indicates to me that the TV is on. Right, so what I'm going to do, there's a standby, well, there is a standby light here which you possibly can't see. Let me make it as dark as I possibly can. I am just going to switch this. If the TV is on, there is a switch here. Now the power supply says it's taking nothing. Did I see a standby light then? I'm going to do that again. I think it may have just been a reflection. So, it looked pretty red as it is now, but I think that's just a reflection. So I'm going to switch. I think that's gone to standby mode. But I think in the menu, I don't think this is a power supply issue at all. I think this is backlights. So if I press this button again, we may get the red light flashing to try and turn the TV on. There it is. 1, 2. Ooh, it's a strange flash. And then wants to turn it into standby, but it's not going into standby. Or we're not seeing it going to standby with a red light. So I'm going to do that again. So I think it's in standby now, but in the menu the standby light is switched to off. I'm going to switch it on. And you get the TV trying to come on. It only blinks twice and slow. I'm expecting it to blink a few more times and faster, but I could be getting it confused with other TVs. Right, the other thing to do is the torchlight test. So let's set up a torchlight test. Let's put... I haven't got much space to play with. Right, okay. We'll do it on this. I'm going to turn off some lights here because they're reflecting on the screen. Right, just in case we had a problem with the last video section recording, I'm just going to do a recap. Bought this TV because we thought it was no power, but we've tested it. It has got power. It is actually trying to switch on, so I'm going to get I don't know which mode it's in at the moment. I'm just going to switch. Ding 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 ding. That. Right, I now think it's in standby. So we're going to be looking for an LG logo when I switch on. There'll be a faint LG logo when I switch on now. Yes, it's there. Did you see that? So for once I was right. It looks like the standby LED. I'm switching it to stand, switching it back on, and there you can see the LG logo. Now, it could still be a power supply issue. I'll do that one more time, just in case you didn't see it. Shall I clean the screen? Okay, blimey, how old am I getting? I'm suffering with getting... I must be getting to that age now where I'm just suffering with taking lids off. It took me only a few seconds, but still, to open a milk bottle the other day, and I've just struggled getting the top off the can. Stop whinging, you old fat. Right. So it's a bit cleaner. Not a lot. I think I overdid it on the cleaning spray. So let's switch to switching on. Yeah, you can see. Hopefully you could. No, you've got a big spludge mark there now. You can't see a blooming thing, can you? Damn useless. Let me try switching it on again. Yo, you can see a bit. Life's good. LG. That's better. And I can even see the word no signal, which tends to float around a bit on there. So, one more time. Not that you need it one more time, but just in case. There it is. There's the LG. Well, that's good. So, not a power supply issue, I don't think. I think it's a backlight issue. There is a chance the power supply could be causing a problem to the backlights, but that's very rare. Okay, well, that's going to be another backlight job. This will have, I'm guessing, the same screen. They put two screens inside one of these. There's an AU screen, which is kind of one in every 100. I seem to come across an AU screen. The main screen I find in this is the LC420DUE. So what I'll do is we'll start to take the back off. I'm not going to record taking the back off, quite simply because I've done a million of LG 42 inches, not this model number, but it's the only difference is software on the main board. The actual chassis and everything else is the same, so there's no need to record that. So give me a moment and I will have a play. There you go, standard power supply for a LG 42. If ever you have a power supply that blows up, it's usually a capacitor there that takes out this FET, and sometimes there are the resistors too. But it's just as cheap to buy new power supplies as it is to buy the kit to repair them. It has got an Ethernet port, but it's not a smart TV. That's just for data download. And have you noticed it yet? Me and my big gob. 10% of these screens, as I said, No, I didn't. I said 1%, didn't I? I meant 10. He says, trying to wiggle out of it. Does not have the LC 420 due. It has the AU Optronic screen, which is the T420. And guess what this one's got? Yes. What does that mean? Well, it means I've just been to the cupboard to get some backlights. And I've got probably 50 or 60 sets of the ones for the 420 screen. Sorry, for the LC 420. But I've got absolutely no backlights, the ones that are in these. These are different. If I remember correctly, they are 6 volts. So what I'm going to do, just for this video, what I'm going to attempt to do, I don't even know if I can do it. I'm going to attempt to just patch it up to get it working for now. And I'll order some proper backlights. Because we've come this far, and it's pouring down with rain outside. I don't want to go outside yet until it's safe and legal to do so. So a bit of a shame. I don't know, and I don't know if anybody knows. I mean, I do understand why they use 2 different screens. That's just sense. I mean, some manufacturers use several different screens. But I don't know if these screens are the ones that are built in Poland. So they always use this screen if you buy a set that's made in Poland rather than ones that are made in China. I'm not too sure. Maybe you do. If you do know, let me know. Anyway, I'll continue taking it to bits. Doesn't sound very engineering, that does it? Take it to bits. I shall continue with the disassembly process, and we'll have a look at the backlights, and we'll measure the voltage on the backlights, because if they're the 6 volt ones, I could be in trouble. I think they are the 6 volt ones, which possibly means there's nothing I can do here, quite simply because even my spare junky junk backlights from old TVs are not here anymore. Only 2 days ago I whipped them up to the main workshop. So I'm not too sure how far we can get, but that's all part of the fun. We'll see. Screen's out, just taking the bezel out. We may be in with a chance. Only because the number of backlights that are here in this leads me to believe that they're not the 6 volters. If they're 3 volts, we can do a temporary fit. As long as there's not, I'm hoping there's just 1 or 2 that have failed. And to do that, we'll get the LED tester out. I'm just changing the lighting a bit here, so the top camera will focus. The top camera has got a mind of its own sometimes, as I'm sure you've realised before. And needs a helping hand in zooming in. How do I get it to zoom in? I've cheated it before. I've put a can of spray down and made it focus. Yeah, like that. Did that work? It did. Fantastic. I'm a genius. Yes, you are. Right. One LED tester. Okay, it's one of those, is it? Let's try that side of the strip first. As you can possibly see from above. Oh, I've got 4 lighting, yeah, so that's okay. And now let's try light them all. So the bottom strip is fine. We'll go on the right-hand side first of all. And as you can see, all 4 are lighting there. Is it 4 and 4 or 4 and 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 and 5. Let's try them all. Second strip is fine. Right hand side strip, all 4 lighting. Let's go to all of them. All are fine. Right hand side strip, all are working. All of them are working. Hello, hello. Is it a power supply issue after all then, or is it going to be the top strip? What do you think? All 4 are working on the top. And they're all working there. Now, that doesn't prove too much, even though it usually does with these backlights. So let's light them. The only reason I'm saying that, there still could be an LED which is drawing too much current, causing the TV to go into shutdown mode. But do you know what I'm going to do before I go any further? Just in case it was a bad connection, I'm going to plug it back in, just to see if I've awoken something. There could be a chance. I'm just going to plug the backlights back in. I'm going to plug the power supply back in. This power supply lead is quite short, so I'm going to struggle. Right, now obviously I don't know if I'm in standby or if I'm on. I think it's supposed to be standby. Let me switch on. Yes, it's saying it's supposed to be on. Oh, I can see a flicker of the backlights, so something is trying to bring them on. Yeah, they're trying to come on now, and now they're off and on and off. So, we still could have a LED issue, LED driver issue. But I'm going to go through and measure backlight current one by one. Let's see if I can just get a camera up to show you how I do this. Hang on a second. It might not be terribly in focus, and I don't. Oh, that's better. Right. That's just reading 307 at the moment. Let's get the correct reading. So this is the bottom strip of backlights that I'm lighting up, which you can't see. Now I want you to be able to see. Hang on. Okay, do we need any extra light, or is that going... No, we don't need any extra light because that'll stop. Right, this is the LED tester, which is currently showing 307 volts DC. That's the maximum that will give out, this LED tester. I don't have to adjust anything, it's automatic. So, for instance, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to light up the bottom strip of backlights. Bearing in mind they're 3 volts each, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So it's going to be about, it should be 27 volts, but I'm expecting it to be a couple of volts less than that. So Let's have a look. What is it going to be? Unless they are, yeah, 26 volts. So it's 1 volt. So if they're all reading 25.9 or around 26 volts, give or take 0.5, I suppose, don't know, then it's going to be an issue with the LED driver. Let's try this one. Again, 25, well, 25.8, can't argue with that, can we? The middle one, 25.6, so I'm just double checking that all the backlights are the same. They are, same amount, exactly the same on each strip. Second strip down, again, fine. Top strip. Well, that's up a bit. That's up quite a bit, isn't it? That's up, isn't it? Wasn't it? We should only be having 25 volts. So they're all averaging 26 volts apart from the top strip, which for some particular reason is it's 28.5 volts, so that's pumping out an extra 3 volts. Could that be causing the power supply not to let the LED driver work? Yes, could. It could indeed. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to take the back cover off here, the LED reflector sheet, and I'm going to go through that top row bulb by bulb. Again, they should be 3 volts each. I think one of those has gone up to 4, well, it's gone up to 5, maybe 6 volts. And that is the one that we'll need to take out and replace. And then this set should be up and running. That's what you call a fix. It's not a proper repair. It needs a whole new set of backlights, but we haven't got them. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead of the game here. I don't even know if we're going to find the fault. So let me strip down to that first. I've been through and I've tested them all, and I'm coming to the conclusion that we don't have a backlight problem. As you can possibly see there, they're all lit. It's taking 130 volts DC. So I'm going to start taking some measurements from the power supply and see what that is trying to put out, because at the moment it's not all making a great deal of sense. I'm believing there's probably a connection issue, and the only reason I'm believing that is I'm having flashbacks of working on this screen before with a connection issue. So what I'm going to do before I start looking at the power supply, I'm going to see if I can light all of the backlights from the socket itself, from the plug itself, and the answer is yes. So there's not a connection issue. I'm just going to wobble the connections around, but there's not. There isn't an issue. Bless you. I know we saw one backlight that was taking an extra volt, it looked, but I think that was just an anomaly with my meter. So I'm going to plug in again. plug in and switch on. Let's switch on here. Right. So the backlights should be on. And they're not. But the TV is on. This is turning out to be a bit of a mystery, a fun mystery, but a bit of a mystery all the same. Right, I'm going to turn off the TV. Or at least I'm turning it to standby. And you can see the LED voltage is dropping down. If I can just make a good connection. Right, let me make a better connection. There it is. So let me turn it on and you see the LED voltage will go up to 116, 123, and then it starts to drop and it tries again, so it goes up to about 130. And it keeps trying. That is telling me it ain't the power supply. So if I switch the TV to standby, the voltage starts to drop and keeps on dropping. Let's turn it on again. It'll shoot up to about 130. Find nothing, shoot down. And keep trying. There it goes, back up to 130 again. So it is a backlight issue, it's not a power supply issue. Power supply is trying to generate the voltage needed. So I'll do that again, but on here. You can see my big hairy hand when really you need to be able to see that. And I don't think you can see much of that at the moment. So let me just wedge it open with a screwdriver and hopefully, there you go. So I'm turning the TV out of standby and it's coming on. And by doing a plus there and a minus here, we should see the same. Is it going up? Shooting up to 130-ish? I can't see. Yes. It is. That is the power supply trying to shoot the correct voltage every time, but something is stopping it. It could still be a bad LED. It could be a connection. So I am going to faff around with all of the connections on here and see if I get it to do what it's supposed to do. Nothing. Not a connection issue. Must be an LED issue, but which one? They're all reading the same. Alright, I hope we're recording. It says we're recording. I don't know if we are recording. I'm just going to take my microphone off my face for a second, and I want to put it on the meter, because sometimes I've noticed in previous videos you can't hear the beeping. So what I'm doing, hopefully you can hear that. Yeah, hopefully. I'm testing the continuity between the strips in the middle. So, for instance, good continuity there, good continuity there. There. Got me excited for a second. There. 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 Uh-huh. Uh-huh. There is no negative continuity, even though my LED tester finds the continuity and lights up the lights. This is saying there isn't continuity there. So it's the continuity between, yeah, this pin and this pin. I don't know if you can see that. Right. Zoom in more on this top one here. It's that. Or more to the point, if I do the top two connections there, yes, but these bottom two, no. So, what I'm going to do, put my microphone back on. The other thing I'm going to do, just excuse me while I move the wobbly cam, is I'm going to disconnect the LEDs from the driver, because the capacitors have still got a voltage and I don't want it up me. So I think there and there is bad continuity. Quickest way to test is switch the soldering iron on, and let's just do a bridge and bring that continuity back. I'm just going to bridge using a piece of wire. That's all I'm going to do. Find a piece of wire, find me cutters. Doesn't have to be pretty. I'm the pretty one around here. Just bring the soldering iron over, let it warm up. I'm going to stick my glasses on since I'm doing a bit of soldering. Hopefully you can see what the plan is. Do I think this will fix it? Yes, I do. It doesn't answer the question why the LED tester finds the connection. But of course the LED tester doesn't have a shutdown mode if something is not quite right, whereas the power supply does. Okay, let's switch off the soldering iron because that gets very hot and I don't want to cause any fires. Excuse me while I just plug everything back in. What's the betting that that was just the fault? Well, you may be able to see a few lines on the screen. That's just a refresh rate of the camera. They're not actually flickering, or there's no lines as such. I will bring in some other cameras just in case they show it better, but it was that. How bizarre. How bizarre. So chaps and chapasses, that's all it was. I say all it was. If it had been a simple power supply issue, if it had been just backlights, we'd have done it in half the time. But there was a continuity break. Somewhere along the negative track, along the ground line there, that was causing the issue. The TV is working fine. Well, I don't know yet. We've got how can I say that? I haven't even reassembled the darn thing. The backlights are working fine. So am I going to change that? No. That's a fix. It's in. It's done. I will reassemble the TV. Not now because it's too late. But I will do a part 2 of this. If you wanted to see the TV reassembled. But there's no need to, is there? Well, yeah, we need to. We'll have a look, I suppose.